And if you hold a vision in your mind of what it is that you want your life to look like and how it is that you're going to feel when you have it, one of these days, you're going to find yourself in a place where you're going to feel that exact way that you have been holding just in your imagination. And it's going to feel like magic, and it's going to come all at once, and it's going to feel like an avalanche. It's just going to feel like you just tipped the scale. Hello, my loves, it's Agnes. Today's video I want to record just to encourage you a little bit if you've been feeling not so confident about your manifestations ever coming. I know how hard and frustrating that feeling can be because I've felt it many, many times, to the point where I've thought about throwing all this like personal development, manifestations, spiritual growth stuff like completely out the window and never think about it again. Because sometimes when you get into this cycle of reading books and listening to videos and listening to podcasts, and you have these glimpses of hope, you have these glimmers of like, yeah, this is totally it. Like it feels like a remembering, it feels like a knowing, and something deep inside is telling you, like, yes, this is it, and this is the knowledge. And then you start dreaming and thinking and having all these desires, and it feels really, really good. And then it doesn't. And then you wake up the next day and you don't feel very good, and you don't feel encouraged, and you get hit with something, or some bad thing happens, some bad luck happens, and it just seems like no matter how much that you try to implement these teachings, that it just doesn't happen for you. And sometimes you can feel like maybe it's just all a lie, and maybe you just need to stop, and maybe you just need to give up. And I think that sometimes needs to happen because there is an element of surrender that needs to happen when we are trying to manifest or create our desired reality, our dream life. And so sometimes when you reach that point, that literally is God telling you, like, yeah, you do need to surrender. You do need to take a setback. You do need to stop. Because if you just keep like listening to information and gathering information, and it feels really great listening to it and absorbing it, but at a certain point it doesn't feel so good anymore because you're not getting into action. You're just in this passive place of getting more and more and more information. And then the more that you know, and the more that you sort of are aware of what's possible for you because you see it in other people, maybe you're holding on too tight. Maybe you're wanting it so much that you're actually pushing it away from you. So, okay, how do you know if you're in that place? How do you know if you're pushing away from you the manifestation, or if you're drawing it closer to you? So the way that you always will know to a degree of 100% certainty, if it feels bad in the moment, you're getting farther away. If it feels good in the moment, you're getting closer. Okay, so if you're listening to a podcast and it just feels really good, you're getting hyped up, you're getting inspired, you're starting to feel energized. That is the correct path for you. But if you're listening to something and it's just doing the opposite, and it's making you feel like you're comparing yourself, it's making you feel less than, it's making you feel insecure, you're pushing away your manifestation. You're getting farther away. So this is how you will always know. And it's always with your emotions and your feelings. That's why I always say, never suppress your emotions and your feelings. Always listen to them, because they are giving you hints. They are the clues that you need to follow. They are letting you know whether you're on track or off track. Bad feelings always mean that what you feel about a situation is not what God feels about that situation. So if you're feeling worthless, you're feeling like, a piece of crap, you're feeling like all those bad feeling things. They feel bad because that's not what God feels about you. But when you feel, or if somebody compliments you and someone says, you look so pretty today. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, I love your smile. Anytime someone compliments you, it feels good. Usually feels very, very good. That's because that's aligned with what God feels about you. So God feels about you always is going to be positive, is going to be uplifting. It's truth, and truth always feels good. And when you're having feelings about yourself that are making you cry, then you know that that's not what God feels about you. And it's the same on the journey towards your manifestation. If it feels hard, if it feels heavy, then you're pushing it away. The best thing that you can do is stop what you're doing and change the subject. Do something else. Do something else to get yourself to feel better so that you can get on that path, because it doesn't matter what you're doing. And this is another secret, shortcut to manifesting. You don't have to be working on the thing that you're trying to manifest to get it to come to you faster. You can be working on something else that's making you happy, that's getting you into that high level frequency place that has nothing to do with the thing, and you're actually on your way to the thing, to the goal. Because anytime that you're in an elevated frequency, you're getting closer to your goals and desires. People say, well, I've had goals and desires and I've been doing all this thing and I've been trying to make myself feel good, but making myself feel good is just making me feel worse. Because I wake up in the morning and sometimes I don't feel good and sometimes I don't know how to feel better. And then knowing all this information, now I feel worse and it's just this pit. Okay? So here's the thing. You don't have to feel good all the time to get to your desire, to get to your goal. Like, let's say you have a money goal. You don't have to be in a good mood all the time to make $1 million. Okay. There's a lot of millionaires that are not happy go lucky people. They might be grumpy. They might be really negative. They might be really critical. Okay. So, money and your feelings and your mood and your kindness and your love for all people do not necessarily go hand in hand. You can have a whole lot of money and you can be an extremely elevated person, or you can have a whole lot of money and be a just a negative burden on society. I mean, you can find examples of this. So if you can find examples of this, you know that there's no correlation there. So a lot of good meaning people that are trying to manifest money, they're beating up on themselves over the wrong thing, and they're actually pushing the goal away farther. So here's the thing. Money doesn't care if you're nice, if you feel good, or whatever else. Money will come to you if you feel worthy of that abundance coming to you. You will always receive every single thing that you feel you're worthy of receiving. And if you've put a lot of value in your feeling good feeling place because you're trying to manifest and you're trying to stay up in your high energy place to manifest, and you've put a lot of value there, but now you find yourself falling down to the low energy place, and so you feel like you're unworthy, undeserving, because you haven't stayed up in that higher elevated frequency like you told yourself that you would. This is why you're repelling the money. But that's not to say that you shouldn't make it a goal to stay in a high frequency place. And I'll tell you why. It's because money is not the only thing that you're manifesting. You're manifesting all the time, every minute of the day. Everything that happens to you is a manifestation of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Everything. So you might be a billionaire, but you might also be manifesting a lot of, crazy, undesirable circumstances in your life because of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and the frequency at which you're resonating at a majority of the time. So don't just use money as the determination of whether or not somebody is at a high frequency place. Okay? When you resonate at a high frequency place, when you take the time to polish up where you're at, and I'm talking about spiritually, I'm talking about inside. Where are you at inside? Are you feeling optimism? Are you feeling sure? Are you feeling like things always go well for you? Are you feeling like you're always in the right place at the right time? That you attract the right people? That everything that's meant for you will find you? Are you at that place in your mind, in your soul, in your invisible place? Because if you're not at that place, you will manifest things that are undesirable, that match that same frequency. And it's not necessarily money. There's an infinite number of possibilities of things that you can manifest and create in your life. Money is just one of them. So, for the people that feel that they are deserving of money, they will have money, period. Even if they lose it all, they'll make it back easily. If you tie up your worthiness in your emotions, if you tie up your worthiness in the actions that you're doing or not doing, you're going to struggle with money. But here's the thing. When it comes to having a dream, having a vision, and understanding what it takes to get it, because you've listened to some of these videos, you understand some of these principles, you understand the laws, the universal laws, and then you ask yourself, why isn't it coming? I want to describe to you, in hopes of encouraging you to not give up, to not call it quits, to not just throw all this stuff out the window, because this is all truth and you know it's truth. You know it because it feels like a remembering when you hear it. This is how manifestation actually works. You have to hold the vision of how you want to feel. Too many times people know what they want, but they get so caught up in the details that when what they want actually shows up, they dismiss it and they say, well, that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the thing that I wanted, right? I wanted it this way. And because you're not acknowledging that your manifestation actually came into fruition, what happens is you're actually taking like a little notch off of your self-esteem, your belief in yourself and your ability to create, and you're not seeing yourself for the powerful creator that you are. So therefore, you're not taking the steps to tweak the system so that you can actually improve and manifest more and better and faster. Okay, so like to give you an example, let's say you really want a boat. You've got this boat on your vision board, and you're thinking about the boat, you're drawing out the boat, you're envisioning the boat, you're falling asleep to Neville Goddard with the boat meditation, and the boat's not coming, and it's 5 years later, and you still don't have the boat, and now all of a sudden your best friend, who is your neighbor, gets the boat, and they invite you on the boat, and you go on the boat, and you say, why didn't I manifest the boat? My neighbor manifested the boat. But you need to understand that you manifested the experience on the boat, which is what you wanted. You did manifest it. Okay? Now I know you want it in your backyard on your dock, and so this feels like it doesn't count. But if you would actually give gratitude and you make that acknowledgement of the manifestation that you just saw happen with your own two eyes, that you had envisioned something and now poof, you're experiencing the thing that you envisioned. This is what gets you closer to the next manifestation. This is what gets you closer to more abundance, more things that you want. Never deny the things that are happening and call them off as like, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I envisioned. Okay? Always think when you're creating, when you're trying to think of like, what is it that you want? What is the life that I want? What are the things that I want to create? Think of the feeling that you want. Think of how it's going to feel to have it. But try not to get too caught up in the details of how you're going to get it, where it's going to come from, if it's even possible. These are the things that hold you back. And if you hold a vision in your mind of what it is that you want your life to look like and how it is that you're going to feel when you have it, one of these days, you're going to find yourself in a place where you're going to feel that exact way that you have been holding just in your imagination. And it's going to feel like magic, and it's going to come all at once, and it's going to feel like an avalanche. It's just going to feel like you just tipped the scale. This is how it works. But you have to hold the vision of the feeling. And the most important thing that you have to do is you can't let reality convince you otherwise. Because there's always going to be like a test. And it's not really a test because I don't believe that the universe gives us tests. But I do believe that whenever we set out to do something different in our lives, whenever we set out with like a goal, an intention, something we want to create, the universe will always hit us with a scenario, an event that is like, I'm going to use the word test for lack of a better word, but it's really not a test, but let's just say it is like a test to see if you've actually shifted in your vibration or not. So you want to feel abundant, right? You want to feel abundant, and this is the vision that you're holding. I wish to feel abundant. And how is that going to feel? What am I going to look like when I feel abundant? How am I going to move? How am I going to speak? How am I going to act? How am I going to react to minor inconveniences? What type of person do I need to be when I feel the abundance that I want to feel? Who am I? Who is she? Right? Who is this girl? And when I hold the vision of that girl in my mind, that abundant person, and now I'm holding this vision and I'm doing the exercises, but the very next day, I receive a parking ticket. Or the very next day, I leave the faucet on and it destroys my whole kitchen. Okay, both things that have happened to me recently. And now is the question, how do I react to these circumstances? And is it aligned with the way that the person that I was holding in my vision reacts? Because if the answer is no, understand that you're getting farther away from your manifestation. You are only getting closer to your manifestation if the answer is yes. If you react in the same way that the abundant person that only lives in your imagination for now reacts, you are on your way. So what I started doing and knowing this is now I say, okay, I'm ready. What am I going to get hit with? Because I've created a new reality in my mind. And once you create it in your mind, it already exists. It's just a matter of stepping into it, right? It's just a matter of time. Once you've created a reality in your imagination, it already exists. It's a spiritual entity, if you will. It's a timeline. It already exists somewhere on the plane. Now I have to line up to match it. But I have to be expecting the situation that's going to happen, something that's going to be that determining point of how am I responding to this? Am I responding to this as the old me, or am I responding to this as the new me? The old me, the broke me, the me that's not abundant, the me that doesn't have any money in the bank, the me that's struggling, the me that feels like I have bad luck, the me that feels like I can't catch a break, like I can't get ahead, like I'm in a loop, like every time I get a little ahead, I fall 10 steps back. That me, that person would respond with anger, crying, being upset, like all the things, right? But how does the abundant me respond? The abundant me might just like laugh it off because she has 200K in the bank. So who cares? I can just get this fixed. Nobody's hurt. Now, I understand it's very difficult to say who cares when you're struggling. But I'm telling you that this is what's required to step into the next level of your manifestation. If it is abundance that you seek, you have to react as the abundant person would react. That's how you know you're closer. But the absolute worst thing that you can do is beat yourself up over any way that you react. Okay? Simply observe. So when it happens to you and you react in your old way, which you likely will because that's a habit. I mean, you've been that person your whole entire life, or at least for a really, really long time. So it's more likely that you're going to respond in your old way than it is that you're going to respond in your new way, right? You don't have enough practice being this new person yet. You've only got a lot of practice in your old vibration. So when you respond within your old vibration, within the old patterns of your old self, acknowledge that it's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Just observe it, accept it, release it, cry what you have to cry, scream if you have to scream, and it's okay. It's completely okay. And that also gets you closer to your manifestation. See, because you're not pushing against. You're getting farther from manifestation because you're pushing against yourself. You have to go with yourself. You have to go with the flow. You have to just be able to observe the thoughts and feelings and emotions that you have, and even the bad things that happen in your life. You have to be able to observe them and bring in a sense of humor almost. You have to be able to detach yourself. You have to be able to see it in like a childlike manner. Like my kids say this to me all the time. What's the big deal, Mom? Why do you make a big deal about this? You know, because to kids, nothing's a big deal. Have you ever noticed that? If you have kids or teenagers, nothing's a big deal to them because they don't have all those like rules and facts and figures in their minds like we do. Like we're always calculating, how much is this going to cost me and what's going to be and like kids are just like, whatever, you know? So I think we can learn a lot from that because that's sort of the type of attitude that it takes is you have to be able to kind of laugh it off and to kind of just see that it's not a big deal. It's a tiny speck. Like, have you ever seen those videos where they show like a human on the planet Earth and then they zoom out and it keeps zooming and zooming and zooming and zooming until you're like in infinite space and it's still zooming and zooming and zooming and it just makes your problems feel like you don't have any because you realize how tiny, insignificant of a little tiny speck we are here on this earth. So that's sort of the level of detachment that you have to bring in. Because when you're trying to manifest a reality that's different from the reality that you're in right now, it's only going to live in your imagination until it doesn't anymore. And then it's just going to spill over. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, I have everything that I was imagining. I have everything that was on my vision board. I have everything that I've ever wanted. And you're going to start feeling that way and you're going to start thinking that way and you're going to attract more. That's the crazy thing. You can only attract what you already have. And it's wild because if you don't have it, it's like, how do I attract something I don't have? You have it, you have the ability to have it within your imagination. That's how you have it before you have it. And so keep it in your imagination and truly try to ignore and laugh off everything else. All the haters, all the people that tell you that you're crazy, it doesn't matter. All the parking tickets, all the stuff breaking in your house and your car, and all the bills and all the things, it doesn't matter. You have to stay focused on the vision. You have to stay within your imagination long enough, and then it will all just unfold. I promise you it will. If it doesn't, that means you lost your vision. You stopped holding it in your imagination. Because if you hold it in your imagination, it has to unfold for you. It's a law. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I hope that you find the strength to enjoy the journey. I hope you find the strength to be able to laugh at yourself and not take it so seriously. And I hope that you are able to be the success story that I know that you are, so that you can comment in here and tell me the things that you've done and the things that you've created. And it's just wonderful. It's just, I mean, if you think about your life right now, your current life right now, think about a time where you wanted the things that you have now. I know you can remember that time. I know you can remember a time, maybe you were little, or maybe it was a while ago, but you can remember a time where you wanted every single thing that you have in your life now. And that's exactly how it works, because you are a creator. You're manifesting all the time. And you can create anything you want. The only limitation is that of your imagination. So work on expanding your imagination, work on sitting in silence, work on getting creative, on thinking and feeling yourself into the place where you want to be. Don't beat yourself up on it. Don't make it hard. Don't make it complicated. Just enjoy it. And if it doesn't feel like you're enjoying it, then change the topic and do something else. Go do something that you do enjoy, so that you can shift yourself into a higher vibration, so that you can feel better, and then you can go right back into doing the work of creating your desired reality. I hope this video encourages you. Please like and subscribe so I can grow this channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.